When I first got the car, it was a standard 325 Touring E30. Since then I've done all the work on it myself. It's now got a 24 valve 2.5 litre engine out of an E36, and fully rebuilt the engine and turboed it, and that's putting out about 400 horsepower on low boost at the moment. It's been fully stripped out, roll caged, strengthened, lightened as much as it can. The roof was cut out and replaced with carbon fibre. Pretty much everything that can be done on the engine's been done. I chose this whole set turbo off a big diesel engine. It originally came off a Volvo lorry, because they're a lot cheaper than Garrett turbos, which are usually used on car engines. It needs to be so big to get the sort of horsepower I was after. It needed a turbo that big. There wasn't the space under the engine bay, so that's why the hole got cut in the bonnet. In the front you can see there's a big intercooler. The radiator's moved to the back of the car to keep the intercooler colder at the front, to get cooler air intake temperature. All the holes cut in the front are to get cold air in there. That all helps to get more power from the engine. The bonnet's made of carbon fibre. It's lightweight, strong and looks nice. It's held down with quick fit fasteners, so it can just be released and lifted off. Yep, you just press them to release them. Bonnet slides forward and lifts up. That can be lifted off. We've got the turbo I've already explained. That's blowing the air for a large intercooler that sits in the front. You've got a custom inlet manifold, large injectors with custom fuel rail. As I said, the engine's been fully rebuilt, the head's all ported and polished. We've got different turbo spec camshafts. It's got forged pistons which are lower compression. I've got steel rods, all ARP uprated bolts throughout the engine. There's a paddle clutch, so I was having trouble with the clutch slipping, so I uprated the clutch. That's about it under the bonnet. To put it down again, you just push it down, knock them. That secures the bonnet. We've got 18-inch wheels that came off E46 BMW. We've got big brakes, the biggest ones BMW do, with Mitsubishi Evo 4-pot calipers. Coilover suspension, which you can adjust how hard it is and the height of the ride height of the car. Wider fiberglass lightweight wheel arches. We've got these smaller wing mirrors. They're mainly just to keep the weight down again. They're just used mainly on kit cars and rally cars. In the back of the car we've got the radiator. Usually it's at the front of the car, but I kept it in the boot to keep the heat away from the intercooler. That's what we've got the vents on the side to let air in. They're ducted inside the car up to the radiator. Also inside the car we've got the fuel system. That's the fuel tank over there. We've got electric water pump that just circulates the water instead of a conventional belt driven pump. The exhaust is also routed through the car, which is covered in by that aluminium. Along the side here you can see the exhaust coming through. That's a 4-inch system straight through from the turbo. I've got these 4-point safety harnesses instead of a conventional seat belt because they work well with a bucket seat. They're used mainly for racing cars and cars that are used on tracks and on quarter-mile racing. In the event if you rolled a car, they keep you much secure in a seat and you wouldn't come out. You've also got a roll cage, so in the event of an accident you'd be safe. I don't know what the top speed is on a quarter mile. It's getting about 113, 114 miles an hour at the end of a quarter of a mile straight from a standing start. We've got a lightweight aluminium and wooden covered dash. We've got just a few gauges that tell the essential things: boost pressure, oil pressure and temperature, and water temperature. We've got a rev counter, a little digital speedo. We've got a boost controller on here that you can regulate the boost pressure of the engine depending on how fast you want to go. I like BMWs just because they're a nice car, they're cheap to get hold of. You can get the older ones quite cheap. You can get parts second hand for them, they're easy to work on. They're nice cars to drive.